Good morning, good afternoon, good evening all, it's Bear here. And I'd like to welcome you to my YouTube channel, aboxwithnolid, a channel I'm creating to put across or put out to the world what I've learned over many, many years about the day-to-day reality of living with complex trauma. And also the mechanics behind what our body and how our body behaves when we're living with the experiences of trauma, and ways of delving into healing and improving the quality of our lives. Now, in today's video, I want to go back into the increasing the understanding around how much of our traumatic responses is within our body. I was being reminded recently of how much our society and how we're taught, because it's under the classification of mental health, that it is all up here. And what's put me in the place where I decided to make this particular video is the amount of justifications people who have gone through trauma have to do, that we don't choose to respond the way we do, socially or through work or through anything that we do. We don't choose to have these responses. They are all based in an autonomic system that has been taught through traumatic experience to be on to be at a level that is above normal. And that's all within our body. Our cognitive brain doesn't touch it because it's autonomic. And there, those out there that think through, therapies like CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy and the like, that you can work with complex trauma. Have a think for a moment. If traumatic experiences push through fight or flight into freeze state and the cognitive brain shuts down, how would cognitive therapies be effective in working with non-conscious body responses, with heightened states, hypervigilance and hyperarousal, with the anxiety and fear states associated with developmental responses to trauma? And all these physiological things, the vagal responses through cardiovascular involvement, respiratory involvement, digestive involvement, all the systems within our body that get controlled or basically, become embedded with a threat response through prolonged trauma, through complex PTSD, or through preverbal developmental trauma, or any of these facets that are far more common in our societies today. And this is the area that I'm trying to bring awareness and understanding to, is the therapeutic understanding when you're looking at developmental trauma, when you're looking at people that have been exposed to prolonged episodes of trauma, and children that have grown up within traumatic environments. Your fundamental physiological body alters to prepare and survive those states. That's the physical component that I'm trying to get across in this video. This is why it is so much in our physical body, is because we are conditioned. Our body is going, okay, this bad stuff could happen at any moment. I need to be prepared. And it pushes all of these chemicals and adrenaline into our tissues to prepare to try to stop, prevent, or escape, the traumatic experiences that created this. And it does that in layers and layers upon layer upon layer over days, weeks, months, and years. It becomes an embedded norm. And when we want to understand how to heal trauma, we cannot use words. The talking therapies don't work. We need the environmental exposures that are different to support our body to learn that the threat environment is not present, that it's a memory. We need to teach our nervous system to recognize current moment versus past experience. And that is really challenging to do. And we cannot do it through talking therapies. because, for the simple reality that when trauma overwhelms, the cognitive components shut down. So there is no connection to the traumatic experiences from a cognitive perspective. We need to engage the body, create ways to work with the body to bring it out of that trauma survival state into assessing our current environment. And that's why understanding and really grasping how much trauma response is body and not in our head is so important, hence making this video. Now, in up-and-coming videos, I will go into more in-depth ways of doing that. But as a basic understanding, I've touched on in several videos, it's constantly throughout the day, bringing your conscious awareness to your current environment and touch things. Different textures, different temperatures. Teach your body to be present, to get out of this prepared and this constant prepared state for threat by constantly reminding to assess the now. Graze eating, constantly snacking, not breaking it down into main meals, but breaking those same food portions spread out over the day. Again, is something that, when the digestive system is forced to deal with food, the autonomic system goes, well, I'm not under threat. You're not going to have a sandwich being chased by a tiger. So it's all these constant reminders. Start to engage your senses more. Get some incense. Get, nice perfumes or colognes. Get things that engage your senses throughout your day to assess the now. And we need to do this realistically thousands of times. But it is really simple to do. We can do several hundred times in a day. Having a jelly bean, a small little lolly, one of those sour things, whatever. It's these things of making the body go, hang on, what's going on now? And when we're doing that, it's showing us that we are safe, that we are in control of our environment, and there is no predator, there is no threat. That is one of the most powerful bases we can do to prepare our body to heal. And because it takes time, it's something that we can empower ourselves to do in our day-to-day lives. It's refraining from long periods of, something I notice a lot in our society today is headphones and earbuds. Every time people are out traveling in buses and trains and out on the sidewalks, everything's isolating from assessing your physical presence and your physical now. My advice is to refrain from long periods of doing that. Yes, listening to music whilst you walk or run is fine. But have it at a volume where you can still hear your surroundings. Acknowledge every car. When you're walking down the footpath, count the cracks. Do all these little things to constantly bring your body into assessing the now. Because it is such an important base with any therapeutic support for healing trauma. But it provides a foundation for our body to move out of constantly waiting for bad things in the past to happen. It also gives our body the ammunition it needs for our brain to go, the bad things are a memory, they're not currently present. Which is one of the progressions of healing, is we need to teach our entire nervous system and our entire body now, not back then. We need to make back then a memory, not a physical presence. And I guess in a roundabout way, we are also learning the skills to re-engage, another positive benefit. Because yes, through trauma we're going to have our bad days, and yes, we're going to need to back off from so we don't get overloaded. But when we engage, as often as you can, remind your body to assess your space right now. It doesn't matter whether you're indoors or outdoors. Just take those few seconds to have a look around. You can do it without anybody knowing that you're doing it. But bringing your body constantly, multiple times through the day and night, to assess your environment now, slowly teaches the body to move past this constant threat state. It makes the body ask the question, am I actually in danger? And through the other support and the ecologies that we create to better support ourselves, it allows them to, through negotiations within ourselves, to move out of that threat prepared state. And if we have the benefit of accessing therapy, therapeutic support, it makes those interactions far more beneficial, because you're doing the preparation work beforehand. It's like doing all the day-to-day exercise before going to a specific gym to do a specific set of training. It's all this support stuff. It's this, for want of a better analogy, it's this core strength training. It's getting you in touch with your body, and it's getting your body in touch with the now. So, as always, I appreciate your guys' comments and feedback. Please be gentle and kind with yourself, and please take the time. When this healing from trauma takes time. It takes years. And the little steps that we can do, every time we get over a certain hump, a certain hurdle, we improve the quality of our life. We open ourselves up to new possibilities and opportunities. So create the positive habits around supporting your healing and your re-engaging with your life and the world. As always, be kind and gentle, and I'll see you next time. Hope.